Osmosis is a special case of diffusion only involving water molecules. It can be described as the overall movement of water from a dilute solution to a more concentrated solution through a partially permeable membrane. Like diffusion, it's also a passive process. This means it doesn't require any energy. A partially permeable membrane, for example the cell membrane, only allows molecules of a certain size to get through. Larger molecules such as sugars can't fit through, whereas small water molecules can. The water molecules continually move, but overall they should move from where there are lots of them in the dilute solution to where there aren't many of them in the concentrated sugar solution. Plant roots take up water by osmosis. In the soil, the water only contains a few dissolved minerals. In the plant roots, there are lots and lots of minerals and sugars dissolved in the cytoplasm. Water moves from the soil into the more concentrated solution in the roots, and this is through a partially permeable membrane. Once in the plant, the water is then carried up the stem and away from the roots. This helps to maintain the concentration gradient, allowing water to move into the plant root continuously. Plant cells rely on osmosis to keep them firmly pumped up with water for support, which is why without water they can wilt. Let's look at the cell to see what happens. A well-watered plant has cells that are swollen, and they are described as being turgid. The contents of the cell are pushed against the inelastic cellulose cell wall which supports it. This is known as turgor pressure. If the plant is short of water, the cytoplasm shrinks and the cells lose turgor pressure. The cell is described as being flaccid, and this is why the plant begins to droop or wilt. When there is a large shortage of water, the cytoplasm begins to pull away from the cell wall, and the cell is described as being plasmolysed. Animal cells, however, don't have cell walls. If they take in too much water, they can burst. This is known as lysis. On the other hand, if they lose too much water, they can shrivel up. This is known as crenation. Animal cells have to keep the levels of water and salts pretty constant. If they don't, the cell can become damaged as a result of them changing shape too much. Some substances have to be moved from an area of lower concentration to an area of higher concentration. In other words, they are moved against the concentration gradient. Moving substances in this way is known as active transport, as it requires an input of extra energy. It's defined as the overall movement of chemicals across a cell membrane from an area of low concentration to an area of high concentration using energy released by respiration. A good example takes place in the roots of plants. Cells here take in minerals such as nitrates by active transport, as the concentration of minerals in the roots is usually higher than the soil around them.